Jerry West, one of the greatest college basketball players of all time, greatest professional basketball players of all time, greatest basketball executives, or let's just say sports executives of all time, has died at the age of 86. His health had reportedly been in decline recently, so this wasn't a shock to the people who knew Jerry well. I heard PJ Carlesimo talking about it earlier, and he said that he knew that, or was made aware that the end might be near. And I guess anytime you hear about somebody being 86 years old, it shouldn't be crazy to think that the end might be near.
Right.
Most of us don't get there, and certainly don't last much longer than that. So I think the people around, or it's not me thinking, I've just listened, they've told me, the people around Jerry West, close to him, understood that this day might be coming. But the rest of us, I mean, I was surprised when I heard this news this morning. Were you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he's obviously just a monster figure in the history of the NBA.
Yeah.
The logo.
Yep.
And excellent in every aspect of the sport. No matter what he did, he was successful at it. Player, executive, people forget this, coach. He coached the Lakers. Mm-hmm. If you watch the Winning Time series on HBO, he was a successful coach, but just couldn't handle doing it. Just everything that went hand in hand with it. He was good at it, but didn't enjoy it. And there are countless stories about him being just a different guy. Mm-hmm. And the way he handled stress and dealt with trauma in his own life. Just a fascinating character.
Yeah.
You could argue one of the great sports executives of all time. Was involved in the Showtime Lakers, but also in the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, and then obviously worked here in Memphis in this building.
Right over there.
His
office
floor
was right over there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I was standing in it this morning.
No, well, this door that we walk through literally every day,
Yeah.
he used to walk through every day. That's a real thing. He is responsible for bringing Hubie Brown here. Hubie, of course, going on to win NBA Coach of the Year. Jerry also, as an executive with the Grizzlies, was named the NBA's Executive of the Year. I won't pretend to have known him well, but I was around him quite a bit, both when he was here in Memphis and then after he left Memphis at various charity events and gatherings in Southern California. And he was just always just this incredible presence. He had a real presence about him. First, let me stop here. How tall, Jerry West?
How tall is Jerry West? I'll say 6'3".
That's exactly right.
Oh, okay.
This is interesting because this morning it's just sort of the way you remember people, or maybe you get lost looking at highlights because he looks big relative to the other people on the court. But Mike Greenberg was talking about this earlier, and it's one of those things, it happens to all of us. You just remember things incorrectly. You just do. It doesn't mean that you're an idiot all the time. It just means that sometimes you just remember things incorrectly. Yeah. And one of the points Greenberg was trying to make was, in Jerry West, like he was able to shoot the way he was shot the ball, and this was pre-3-point line, and to be able to do it at his size, just amazing to be able to shoot the ball at his size. And then he asked like somebody else in the studio, how tall was Jerry West? And they Google, and they were like 6'3", and he was like, so the same height as Steph Curry.
Yeah.
So he's like Steph Curry's height. He was really not that big, but he seemed big.
Yeah.
And certainly in his era, 6'3" in the 1960s registers differently than 6'3" in the 2020s. But again, just an all-time great player, all-time great executive. The actual logo of a professional sports league, and somebody whose impact and legacy will quite literally be felt in this game forever. You don't say that about lots of people, or at least you can't say it honestly about lots of people. I know when folks pass, particularly famous people, accomplished people. That is a moment where we all just sort of hold them up and we act like, and the world will never forget them. And it's like, 6 weeks later, you've already forgotten them, right? There aren't really many people who will never be forgotten, whose legacy will never be undone, whose impact will always be felt. And this guy is obviously one of them. Again, he is the logo of the NBA.
Yep.
Every time you see that thing, that is him. So just sad that it happens so soon after we lost Bill Walton. This postseason in the NBA, we've lost at least two all-time greats, incredible figures in the history of the sport. I mean, two of the all-time great college players, most successful college players, all-time great professional players, and then two men who had incredible post-playing careers where their impacts were similarly important or at least impressive. Bill with, commentating and becoming one of the most interesting and entertaining voices in basketball commentary. And then Jerry, of course, working in front offices with the Lakers, with the Grizzlies, with the Clippers, with the Warriors. So to lose them all, both of them rather, in such close proximity, just sad. And to, for Jerry's children, Johnny, of course, being the most well-known of them, to lose their father so close to Father's Day. Also, like that, that's not great.
Right.
It was this week last year where my father passed 2 days before Father's Day, right? Like the 1 year anniversary of my father's death is going to be on Father's Day this year. That's not great. So I'm, I empathize with them. I know this must be hard because it is not every day that most people talk to their mom or their dad, but there are certain days that that everybody does, or at least everybody should. And Father's Day is one of those days, and that hole's going to be there for them this Sunday. So I imagine this is tough no matter what, but the timing in the calendar can make it a little more difficult.
The Gary Parrish Show, live weekdays at 10 a.m.